Yeah, greetings to you all once again. This is lecturer Collins Chinebwakodia from OBI TTC. Yes, I've been coming your way with some episode on quantity surveying. Last week we looked at an episode on quantity surveying, and we look at some of the purpose of what estimation and measurements. We look at some of the processes that involves in estimation and measurements, and we got to know that there are three stages that are governed in what estimation and measurements. But before then, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're a new person coming to watch this video, and don't forget to share and also like the video. So looking at the button beneath, you see the subscription button, you see the like button, and you see the share button. You can share the videos and like it, and also subscribe to our channel. If you have any comments, you can leave it behind. This is OBITTC once again, where we are learning about what quantity surveying. So based on what we learned last week, we learned about the three stages in measurement and estimation. We got to know that we have the taking off aspect, whereby we pick what dimensions and figures from what a working drawing or from a specification. And we got to know that after doing the taking off, we need to also do the abstracting, where we pick what the approximate figures of what individual trade works, example like concrete, example like block work, example like carpentry works, and all those things, for us to know the approximate what areas or linear or what cubic of items that we need for the abstracting aspect. After that, then we take it to the billing. We'll be able to describe the work item and also demonstrate what the quantity based on what either in meter cube or in square area or in linear. Yes, today we are going on looking at what we call standard method of measurement. Yes, that is S.M.M, standard method of measurement. A standard method of measurement is what is a book or is what a document that is prepared as a guide in in measurement or in estimation. So we say that summary or explaining it in a firm way, we say the standard method of measurement is a comprehensive document that is used in estimation and measurement, and it also gives the code and the rules and regulation that governs it by a quantity surveyor in measuring or taking estimation from a proposed drawing or something. So we are saying that this is a comprehensive document that entails the code of practice or the regulation that governs quantity surveying or estimation and measurement, and they are normally used by a quantity surveyor or an estimator. So it gives them a great guide in it. So in the section of the measurement, there are points whereby you get item which is supposed to measure in volumetric, that is volume, or item which is supposed to measure in superficial. So in our current way, we know that when we are measuring for concrete, example concrete in foundation, where I have a foundation concrete thickness about 0.3 meters, or about, let's say, 12 inches, or about 1 foot. Yes, I need to calculate or quantify the volume of concrete in volumetric. I have to estimate it in volume. I need not to go in superficial. But if I'm doing concrete in chases or blinding or something, based on the thickness, which is maybe blinding will be like 0.05 meters or 2 inches, or let's say 20 cm, then we can say that okay, we can classify it in superficial. So this S.M.M. give us this guide for us to know on how to calculate or to quantify our basic materials in whether volumetric, in either superficial, linear, numerated, kilogram, or tons. It gives us a guide, and in the section it will tell you how the description of what item will be, whether for concrete. For example, if you have concrete in foundation, so you state what the type of concrete. So if it's a plain in situ concrete, if it's a reinforced in situ concrete, if it's a premix, you have to state the strength in it and how it's being poured. So if it's poured in foundation, you said plain in situ concrete, then you state the ratio 1:2:3. Okay, you state the size of aggregate 20 mm AGG, 15 to 20 or 25 to 30 kilonewton per millimeter square, poured in foundation and well compacted. So anyone that picks knows that okay, this is the type of concrete, this is the grade of concrete. They are pouring it in the trench. It will be well compacted to expel any air from it and all those kind of things. So in the price analysis, you'll be able to derive the correct price analysis for it. So this S.M.M. it serves as a guide. It serves as a regulation that helps every quantity surveyor, every estimator in quantifying for a job or in estimating for a job. Now we go on to look at some of the functions of S.M.M. So looking at it, we have that it sets down for rules and regulation that governs measurement. Regulation that governs measurement. It will tell you that okay, with this particular measurement, you are supposed to do it in volumetric. Example like concrete work. Example like filling to excavation or filling to side of excavation or backfilling and all those things. And to tell you that okay, doing that kind of work, you need to measure it in volumetric to know the total volume of concrete you need, the total volume of hardcore filling you need to fill your foundation footing, or the total volume of spores, excavated spores you need to backfill your foundation. So it gives the rules and the regulation that entails or governs it. Now when we go on looking at the second point, it says that it serves as a guide to the contractor and the client on the accepted method of measurement. So this book is there, or this comprehensive document is there to give an open knowledge to the client and the contractor. So as the contractor says that okay, this number or volume of item or this work trade is going to be measured in volumetric or in superficial, it will explain also to the side of the client also know, say okay, with regards to concrete work or filling work, it's supposed to be measured in in volumetric. Then the client will also be aware, so that in the terms of pricing, the contractor will be able to price it based on the unit of method of measurement that was used in in quantifying for the work item that is needed. So this book serves as a guide that gives a brief explanation, a detailed explanation on the both of the contractor and on the side too of the client. That gives them a brief understanding about the work item that is supposed to be measured, and the method or the method of measurement or the unit of measurement that is going to be used in in the quantifying or doing the estimation too as well. Then we look at the third point, which says that it also helps to reduce disputes that may arise due to the variety of method used in measuring of construction project work. So we have varieties of method of measurement. We have some that are measured in volumetric. We have some that are measured in in linear. We have some that are measured in superficial. These are our variety methods. So when you have this method, the book or the code will tell you that okay, when you are doing block work is supposed to be measured in superficial. It means that you need a perimeter where the block work will be, then you need the total height of the block. Then you can know that okay, the block work for this section of the building is going to be superficial, or it's going to be area, that is meter square. So when these are in, it gives prevents a dispute that may arise, as maybe the client might say okay, the block work is supposed to be, since it's a straight line and it's linear, but it's not just the straight line, but we are also looking at the height of the block work. We quantify that one into rate in addition for us to know the total area where the block will occupy. So the guide or the S.M.M. the comprehensive document, is there to help for us to understand the method of measurement and also to know the right unit that is needed to do the measurement as compared to the work trade. We go on looking at the next point, which says that it provides a uniformity in the measurement of building work item of works. So when we talk about uniformity, then we are talking about having a particular same method of measurement or unit of measurement when you are doing the quantities or you are doing the estimation. So for example, I am doing sections like concrete work. I'm doing sections like filling to excavation, backfilling to excavation, and other things that can be calculated or can be quantified in volumetric. So I have all these things in line. Concrete in volume. I have backfilling to footings, which is also in volume. I have filling of foundation footing, which is also in volume. So you realize that everything is is in line. So there's a kind of uniformity. When we come to superficial, you can have something like block work, you can have something like tiling, you can have something like painting, and all these things. So all those things are also priced in that unit of measurement, so that they can have some kind of uniformity, and it gives a clear understanding to the clients or the consultants or any other person who have the chance to view the estimation or the quantities that is prepared by the quantity surveyor or the estimator. Then it serves as a reference material for the quantity surveyor. You know, when you go to the S.M.M, there are a lot of references that are stated, then the code that are supposed to be that's supposed to be read out. So you realize that okay, maybe at this section the code over there is 2, which says that maybe concrete in cubic, and to tell you that maybe in foundation trenches, this is the code that is also over there. So you realize that per the material you are using, whether it's for concrete works, you know the unit of measurement you are supposed to use, or the method of measurement you are supposed to use in order to arrive at what, at the actual what, quantity or estimated volume of what concrete that is needed for the work. So it serves as a reference. Then also another thing that will serve as the reference to will be the guide, that is the S.M.M. itself. So anytime you want to refer to it to check the unit of measurement or the method of measurement you use, when you get to the S.M.M. and you go through the concrete side of it, it's able to give you that, okay, with concrete of this specification, of this thickness, we have to measure it in either volumetric, either superficial, either linear, or whatever other measurement that will suit it. And there's another point that talks about what it serves as what, a benchmark for what, a good practice. So it's a guide, so it's a pillar that stands as a reference that any quantity survey estimator can go to it and pick information from there and use that information to build up what the method of measurement or the unit of measurement that he needed for the work. So whether for estimating or quantifying, when you get to the S.M.M. or when you have the S.M.M, you'll be able to quote the right regulations or the code of practice that is needed, and you're able to know the correct unit of measurement and the method of measurement you need to employ in order to make your estimation approval or your quantities what approval. Then also what you say that it also facilitates quicker and smoother measurement. So if you have, the only thing is for you to go and refer to it and know the unit of measurement that is needed for the work item to be measured. So you need not to sit and be calculating or be thinking about the kind of unit of measurement or the method of measurement you need in order to what, finish your estimation or something. You just have to refer to the book and you get it, whether for block work in superficial, whether for concrete in volumetric, whether for concrete for blinding, which is superficial, whether for roof carcassing, which are some in linear, whether for lamination board for insulation work, which is supposed to be superficial, whether for roofing sheet, which is supposed to be superficial, and so on and so forth. Any other measurement work item that can be measured by the individual what, unit of measurement. Okay, so we go on looking at some units of measurements that are available over here. So one, we have cubic, that is what, meter cube, cubic meter. So we look at what are some of the items that we can actually measure in cubic meter. We have concrete, we can measure in cubic meter. We have filling to excavation, it can be measured in cubic meter. We have backfilling to what, excavation, it can be measured in the cubic meter. And there are other work items that can also be measured in cubic meter. So if you go to know that, okay, this can be measured in cubic meter, it makes it so easy. What you need to know is to get the length, is to get the width, is to get the thickness, and to give you the cubic meter you need. Or what you need is to get the length, is to get the width, then you have the depth that will give you what the cubic meter that you need. Then with the filling to excavation to the same, you need the depth of what filling, or if it's going to be compacted in layers, then the thickness at which it's going to be compacted. You need all those things to do what your calculation. Then you know that, okay, you need this volume of what material for the filling, including what compaction. Then when we come to superficial, that is square meter or meter square, we can look at some work trade like block work. We can look like some work trade like painting. We can look like some work trade like screeding, plastering, and so on and so forth. There are other more that you can look. So all you need is to know the length and breadth of it, or the length or the total girth and the height of it, in order to derive or to get what your area that is needed, so that you know that, okay, the unit of measurement for block work is this, the unit of measurement for painting is this. That is superficial. Getting the total surface area of the place for painting is also what's important to know. Then when we come to linear item or linear measurements, that's the linear measurements or meters. So it's either it's in meters, it's in feet, it's in inches, it's in centimeter, or all that we need in what is linear measurement. So we can look at, when we look at the roofing noggins like this, the purlins, the rafters, the jack rafters, the valley rafters, the ridge, and all those things. When we are doing the calculation, we calculate them what in linear to know the total length before maybe it's converted into what in number. Then when we are going to the market to purchase the item, we say that, okay, we want this number of this size of wood. But before then, we have to calculate everything in linear. When we are laying drains, pipe works, plumbing, we calculate what? The length of the pipe in linear. All those things are what? Are needed when we come to what? Linear measurement. Then when we come to numerated or number, then we are looking at items that can be picked individually as what? 1 plus 1 plus 1. So that means we have 1, we have 2, we have 3 and stuff. So items like WC ports, urinary basin, wash hand basin, those can be what? Number. Let's say number of what? Spotlights, bulbs that are needed in the room. All those things are what? Numerated items that we can pick and count them one after the other as numbers. So you get to know that, okay, for that one we can't measure either by the area or by volumetric, but you can only pick them as one item and measure it as what? As a number. So something like a wash hand basin, something like a WC, something like a urinal basin, something like electrical fixtures and components like bulbs and other LED lightings, and all those things can be what? Can be numbered. When we come to kilogram, then we are looking at it in weight. What are some of the items that can be classified in kilogram? So we have reinforcements that are used for what? Are reinforced works. So with those ones, it can be what? It can be quantified in what? In kilograms. We have steel structures, that is stanchion columns, stanchion beams, and all those things. When we go to the market to buy them, it's by their weight. Do you understand? So we get to know that with this, it can be measured in what? In kilogram. Yes, and when we come to tons, tons is a higher unit rate as compared to kilogram. So with the tons, we can get items like the same reinforcement, the stanchion beams, the stanchion columns, the angle bars, universal, they all have weight. So you'll be able to calculate and know the weight per linear meter and all those kind of things. So these are some of the things or the unit of measurement that we need to be familiar with. Anytime we are doing quantities or we are doing estimation, so that we're able to explain it to our clients very well that, okay, per this work or per this project, we will need this number of items, we will need this volume of what? Soil, or let's say fine aggregate, we'll need this volume of what? Coarse aggregate, we'll need this volume of what? Of other, let's say, water for works or other things that is needed. When we come to the block work, we tell you that, okay, for this block work, it's up to what? This total area, maybe 100 square meter of block work that is needed to be done. So based on that, we're able to know the number of blocks that is also needed for the work. We're able to know the number of bags of cement that is needed for the work. We're able to know the volume of sand required and all those things. When we come to the reinforcement too, we're able to also know that, okay, we need 1 ton, we need 2 tons of reinforcement in order to complete what? The steel works in foundation or the superstructure. So all these things help us in what? In quantities and what? In estimation. So you realize that a standard method of measurement becomes what? An important document that is required in the field of work that is the practice of quantity surveying or estimation, which will help us enough to understand or have the in-depth knowledge about it. Now, this standard of method of measurement sometimes help us in what? In aiming and curtailing what? Disputes that arises between what? Contractors and what? And clients. Sometimes they don't understand the unit of measurement, so you have to go into details to explain them with the help of the S.M.M 7, so that they will have an understanding about it, that, okay, for this item of work that I'm going to be executed, I need this volume of materials to be supplied to me on site. I need this number of materials to be supplied, like block work, number of blocks. I need this number of boards to be supplied to me. All is based on what? The regulation and the code of practice that is embedded in what? In the standard method of measurement. That helps us enough to what? To be able to quantify for work item, and to also be able to what? Measure when we are doing estimation for works. Yes, there are a lot to talk about. In our next episode, I'm going to talk about other things. We are going to know more about building team, what governs the building team, and what goes into the building, who makes up the building team, and all those kind of things. So please, I want you to be watching the video, share and like it, and if you've not subscribed, don't forget to subscribe to it. See you next time in our next video. Bye bye.